There we go. Got someone helping them. So we're all good to go now. Excited to be back here today to bring to you. This is our third installment of the selling point. And the first one, of course, was the 90-minute day, in which for that 45 minutes that we talked, it was all about how do we own and grow our business in just 90 minutes a day? And that was all based off the book of the 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. And so we talked about that first. Then last month, we talked about the power of your database and how, I've been training real estate agents and people since 2005, all across the country, thousands upon thousands of people. And the most overlooked source of business for most agents is their database. We just don't call. I mean, look at your own business right now. When's the last time you've called everybody that you've done a transaction with in the past? And I guarantee it's about 10% of the time, because as I go around, I do classes as small as 5 and as large as 200, and it only a few hands ever pop up about working the database. Well, today we're going to jump into your service. Now, go ahead, and here's what I want everyone to do. Today, we're going to talk about Ritz Carlton service. And of course, the whole theme behind Ritz Carlton service is elevating the client experience for future referrals. Now, I want everyone to go ahead, if you can, the chat is enabled, so please put in the chat for those of you that can go ahead and jump in and join me here. On a scale of 1 to 10, what one being is like, hey, look, I give my clients what they need. They just need to get through this process and close on this home and just tell them, do what I tell them to do, and that's that. To 10 being like, it's like white glove treatment. I go above and beyond, and they hardly have to lift a finger. They will say I have the best experience they've ever had. Be honest with yourself. 1 to 10, what is your customer service rating? How would you rate yourself? And then if you need help thinking about it, how do you think your clients would rate you? So go ahead in the chat if you can, on a 1 to 10 scale. 1 is, look, I got them closed. They should be happy. 10 being they're on the street corner singing my name and wearing a sign that says, "Go buy a house from Corey." Okay, we got 7. Come on. I know more of you know how to use the chat there. Just click that chat at the bottom. All right, another 7. Okay, here's saying I love honest, because let's keep it real. We have life happening, and there are times where, like, if they call me one more time, I swear I'm going to lose it. I'm going to absolutely lose it, and that affects our customer service delivery, because a lot of times we are salespeople. We just kind of go with the flow rather than having a thought or a plan in mind on what experience do we want to deliver to our clients. So today we're going to talk about the delivery. So we only had 2, but guess what? The rest of you keep it in your head, because we're going to come back to this later. Now, to quick tell you about myself and why in the world is this guy working for this mortgage company talking to us real estate agents on how to grow our business? Well, yeah, my name is Corey Knight. I'm the Director of Sales Training and Development for Silverton Mortgage. I'm also a sales performance coach. And I got in the mortgage industry back in actually, sorry, no, I was about to say 2005, but that's when I got into sales coaching and training in 1994. I know it's hard to believe I'm only 31, but got in 1994. And then in 2005, I got into training, coaching, consulting for mortgage companies. And then it kind of converted to where a company had me go out and start speaking with agents. And I started traveling all over the country, speaking to real estate agents on how to grow their business. And it just kind of morphed to where, believe it or not, y'all listen to me more than my mortgage people. It's sort of like, if like your parents tell you something, you're like, yeah, I've heard it, and it's wah wah wah, the Charlie Brown. But then all of a sudden, someone else tells you the same thing. You're like, man, that is so true. And your parents are like, I told you the same thing. It's just different. And so I've been out doing this now since 2005, going out speaking to agents on how to grow a business. Because one of the biggest things about your business, yes, you're selling homes, but you're in a people business. 94.6% of all of your clients do everything online before they ever contact an agent for help. So you have to attract them for them to come to you in order to be that agent of their choice as they're shopping around and being contacted by a lot of agents. In fact, NAR has another statistic that says during a client's timeline of buying, believe it or not, only 10% of the time are they locked in with an agent. The other 90% of the time where they're hopping online, looking, shopping, Zillow, Realtor, Redfin, yard sign, so-and-so said, call this agent. So-and-so said this. Oh, open house, whatever it is. NER states that they, on average, have contact with 17 different agents. And how do you set yourself apart? And that's kind of where this came down to. How do we set ourselves apart as agents to be the agent of choice? And so today we're diving into the customer service of this. And so I'm really looking forward to bring this to you. And so let's jump on in and let's talk about, okay, this Ritz Carlton service. What is it? How do they do it? And we got to set the stage in our head, though. So what comes to mind when I say these three things? And before you answer, we're gonna take a little walk, a little journey together, okay? When I say Ritz Carlton, Disney, and Lexus, think about those things in your head. What comes to mind when you dive into these experiences? And to kind of put it into perspective here, I don't know if you've ever stayed at a Ritz Carlton or not, but imagine you're going down the drive, you see your hotel there at the end. You pull on up because it's valet only, okay? You pull up, they come around, open your door. Oh, welcome, sir. So welcome, ma'am. So glad to have you here today. Please come on in. Don't worry about your bags. We got them. Porter right here will take care of it. And you kind of walk up and you see how grand everything is. And to be honest, you're walking a little bit taller. You're like, it's Carlton. I'm here. That's me. My friend's down at the Best Western. One day, but you go on in, they open the door. Welcome, sir. Welcome, ma'am. Come on in. Going in, they have the checkpoint. Hey, would you like some bottle of water? Would you like champagne? Would you this, that, the other? And you're just like, wow, everything is done for you. In fact, well, I'll get into it later. But when you go on in there, it's an elevated experience. Because think about the time when I just mentioned Best Western. Not that there's anything wrong with Best Westerns. I stay at them too. But when you go on in, you park your car, you go on up to the front desk and they look at you and go, okay, how can I help you? And you go, yes, I have a reservation. Okay, do you name? Okay, do you have a major credit card? And they go straight to it. Okay, your room elevator's down there on the left. Your room's 342. Hope you enjoy your stay. Whereas in Ritz Carlton, you go on in and they, guess what? Oh, let us take you over here. Here's the elevator. Going up. Please let us make sure your room's okay. You go on in. It's just a whole different level service. Disney. I am great with directions, okay, when it comes to driving, but there's something about Disney that takes everything away because you're immersed in everything. And then Lexus. A car is a car. Everything can get you from point A to point B, but when you're driving in it and you feel the smoothness, you don't hear the road noise. You know when you walk into that dealership, welcome, sir, welcome. It's just different. Everything is elevated. Everything's there. Your expectations are up here when you go to these places. Question is, are your clients' expectations up here when they come to talk to you? So today we're going to dive into these three things, and what do most people think about the companies and the four things that the four common factors they have in order to drive repeat business. So here's what most people say, according to all the surveys and everything done of these. Ritz Carlton, they think luxury, superior customer service, high-end facilities, and the gold standard. There's hotels and there's Ritz Carltons. You can't put them in the same sentence. It's the gold standard. They're here. Everything else is here. Next, Disney, magic, wonder, fantasy, immersive experience. Like I said, I get lost in it. It's like I'm in a whole world. I don't know what's going on outside the walls of wherever I'm at when I'm at Disney. Storytelling and characters, you get involved, you see kids and everything is there. And then the quality and the creativity. Everything is there. Like I said, it captures all of your senses and makes you feel part of the Disney experience rather than just looking at stuff. And then lastly, we have Lexus. You have the reliability and durability, luxury, comfort. It's not just a drive, it's a ride, And then your customer service, when they go on in, they know, they see. And then the value for the money. Yes, you're paying, but you're getting a lot for what you pay for when you buy a Lexus. But that's what most people have to say about these three companies. And so what we want to do today is take these and what are most people going to say about you? So why these companies? Ritz-Carlton, Disney, and Lexus are all renowned for delivering world-class customer service. Despite being different industries, hospitality, entertainment, and automotive, they share several core strategies that elevate their service experience. And here are the four things they do exceptionally well. Here's four common factors are this, and we'll dive into all four of them. Number one is personalized service. Number two is attention to detail. Number three, the hardest, consistency in delivery, because not every day do we feel like delivering. Let's keep it real, right? And last, but proactive problem solving. So let's go into the first one. But first, let's remember all four hack factors happen at the same time. You don't have them, oh, it's this, and this. They're all going on. So you got to kind of find yours and figure out how am I going to develop this and go forward. So now let's go into the first thing, personalized service. It's people over process. What's interesting as a sales coach, it's all about processes, processes, processes. The problem is you can't have process override the personal. You have the process put in place in order to take care of the personal. So what does that mean in order to look at doing this? So what is it? It's a customer service approach where interactions are tailored to meet specific needs and preferences of individual customers. Okay. It doesn't mean you change your process. It means you change your delivery. Every client wants to be treated differently because everyone has their thing they want. I do personality selling and, I go through bulls, owls, lambs, and tigers where you have, or some of you know it as DISC, DISC, where everybody wants different levels. So, you get someone that, so I say a high bull, they don't want all the details. Give me the bullet points, give me the high features, and let's move on. Whereas an owl goes, hold on. I don't want to know just how many bedrooms, how many baths, the HVAC, how many BTUs does that put out? What's the energy efficient rate? Do you know the average power bill here? By the way, is there enough to compensate for each floor? They want to know it all. That means you have to change your service level according to your client's needs, not just here's what I do, let's get through. Here's what I do, let's get through. You have to change your delivery for every client. So what does this look like from these three perspectives? Okay. Ritz Carlton, the staff uses guest preferences to tailor each visit, remembering room types, dietary restrictions, and even personal occasions. So I get to speak on this for Ritz Carlton, not because, oh, I'm a Ritz Carlton person. I have 6 children. I am not a Ritz Carlton person. Sorry, it's just not in the Knight family budget. But fortunately for me, I used to travel with another financial institution a lot, and I could only stay at hotels that were financed by the institution. And I got to stay at a bunch of Ritz-Carltons because they were owned. And put it this way, I stayed at Ritz-Carlton, but I paid Best Western prices because of the place I worked, owned it. And what was unique is every time I knew to pull up, but when I go back to the same cities, they remembered who I was. So when I got out of the car, it didn't matter what car, because I was in a rental car, they would remember, oh, Mr. Knight. The front desk lets them know, hey, Mr. Knight's checking in today. So they come on in and they bring me through the door. I coming up, and when they pull me up, they're like, Mr. Knight, hey, so glad you're back. Are you here for business again, or do you get to enjoy yourself this time? And because I'm staying at a Ritz-Carlton, which means I am working, I am here to work, So they knew, but they always asked, and they said, hey, by the way, we noticed last time when you left your room temperature at 68 degrees. So we have it at 68 degrees for you today. Hopefully that works for you. If not, please feel free to change it on the door. We also know you asked for an extra little coffee pod because apparently you like a lot of coffee. So we went ahead and put in the extra coffee pods for you. That's what they do. That's what they know. And now they also know that I'm gluten-free. So these are things that they do that let you know that, hey, wow, they know, they remember, they keep track, they write this stuff down. It's all in the system. It's not that their memory's great. It's they track it. That's part of their process, but they use that process to personalize my experience. Let's talk about Disney. They have the Magic Band. and which allows guests, it takes the guest data, allows them to customize park experiences like greeting children by their name or celebrating birthdays. You scan that thing and it lets whoever's there on the other side of that see and know exactly what you're going through that day. So if they know, oh, you got lots of kids, like for me, I have lots of kids, and if it's one of their birthday, they're going to know that. They're also going to know that, guess what? We have to do what is it, the parent swap, rider swap, I forget what it's called, but because we had one that's too small to ride it, so you get one parent gets to stand there and they get the fast pass or whatever it's called to go on in right away. But they know all that stuff, and they do that in order to make you feel special and unique when there's thousands of people there. Then Lexus, the service reps often know the customer's name, car history, and preferences even before they arrive. One thing I had fortunate privilege of doing when I first got out of college, I sold cars, and that's probably one of the greatest sales experiences of my life. But I sold cars and like Toyota. I worked for a Toyota Lexus dealership, and so I got to sell it. And one thing that was interesting is when you go on into service to have your car serviced, when you pull up there, you have your appointment. They know your car, they know your name, everything is there. They know the car temperature. They know what, even if they disconnect the battery and everything, they go back to your radio station. They make sure the seat memory works. They do everything they can. They know they pay attention to all the little details. They have the snacks ready. All that stuff. They do all they can to make it seem like you are their only client. Now, and that's what really sets them apart. Now we have to look at what can you do to personalize your client experience, because your client needs to feel special. Because here's what let's be honest. I mean, I did mortgages for a long time, and then I've been coaching and training agents for just as long. And we have to be honest. We go through and we're like, okay, I got someone. Okay, let me get the contract. Let me go look at the houses. Let me go do this. Let me pull them up. Okay, here we go. We know it's going to take 10 to find one or 50 to find one. Who knows? And we go through our process, and in some ways, we go through it automatically. We don't stop to realize, okay, are we taking them in? So, what can we do to personalize it? Number one, we can discover all the client's expectations. Do we sit down with our clients and say, hey, look, I know you're buying this house, or I know you're looking to list this house. What are certain things that you're really looking for that you want to know, that you want to make sure is covered, that you want to make sure is handled during this experience? Because this is one of the biggest decisions in your life you ever make is buying a house. I mean, it's probably the most expensive thing anybody will do in their life. At least most people do in their life. So what do you want to look at it? What are your expectations? Well, do you want to do open a house? Not do an open house. So I just want you to sell it quick, fast, just whatever. Yeah, well, guess what? I need this much money. Whatever it is. Look, I don't know what's going on. This is my first time doing it. I need my hand held. So you have to discover, what are their expectations. Some don't know because they've never gone through this before. Some had their expectations were really disappointed last time. The agent they worked with before, horrid. And so their expectations are better than that, but they don't know. So it's time for you to get curious on, what does your customer like? Who are they? Because you don't want to handle just this transaction. You want to handle a lifetime for them. Because a lot of times this house is not necessarily the person's last house. Not only that, is if they have kids or anything else, you can have generational homes that you can help those people with. But you've got to set the bar and the expectation to go, I'm here to do that, which means I'm going to learn everything about you. Find out their preferences. How do you like to be communicated? Do you want text? Do you want phone calls? Do you want emails? You want all three? Which are the different things you like? If we need to show your home, what type of time frame do you like notified in? Okay, when they come through, is there anything like to show the home? Is there anything in particular you want to make sure that's pointed out to every client that walks through your home? And guess what? If you're helping a buyer, what are certain things you must be in a house to make sure we look and we pinpoint it to make sure that works for the need? Not only that, is get curious on the why and what. Why is that important to you? Like for me, when I bought my last house I'm in right now, I still have four kids in the house. Two are out, four in, two in high school, one in middle school, one in just a few weeks graduates pre-K and starts kindergarten next year. So I'm not bored, but my house would be very specific because I have two teenage daughters, a middle school son, and and a 5-year-old, you know? And so one thing to look for is the bedrooms and bathrooms had to be sorted out because, to get those in, some kids going to have to be on the main floor by themselves with the bathroom. Well, I'd really like that. Most of the houses have that's the guest bathroom, like the main floor bathroom and the bathroom for that. Well, I don't know if you've ever been in a bathroom after a 10, 12-year-old boy's in it, but if guests are coming, you got to clean that thing right away because who knows what. So for me, it was, hey, this important. Is there a way to have a bathroom for him and then a little half bath for guests to use so we don't have to clean it every single day when someone comes over or surprises or whatnot? So get curious on what and why. Why are you moving? Like for me, I moved because of schools. My kids, I wanted to give them a certain school experience. So we moved to that area for there we're in now for school. Listen and take notes. Taking notes is great. It's important because that says I'm listening and I've got it. Set the expectations going forward. Say, okay, here's what I've got, and repeat it back to them. Here's what I'm going to deliver to you. And then, I don't know if you ever read the book Raving Fans. I know it's an older book, but you deliver plus one. If they think this, you deliver this. And you're like, wow, I wasn't expecting that. No, you're not supposed to because it's my job to wow you. So that's what you can do to personalize experience. Now, second is attention to detail. And this is why we have to ask the why, the what, all their expectations. This is a difference between good and great. Because guess what? Think about it. The Best Western, the Ritz Carlton, it's Best Western is good. You're going in, a Hilton is good. You're going in, they're nice, they're typically clean, people are friendly, some have more extra amenities and some have less. But the difference is when you go on in is how they're treated you. That makes the difference between good and great. Same thing for you. It's all those little details that you remember, just like for you to call them back in a year and say, hey, look, how the kids doing? Corey, how's your middle schooler adapting to living on the main floor by himself when all the other kids are upstairs? How's that working out? Those are important things to show, wow, they really remembered. So let's talk about what the attention to detail is. It's a highly valued skill that allows individuals to be thorough and accurate in their work, focusing on both the small and large elements of a task or project. This meticulous approach leads to high quality outcomes and minimizes errors, which we want to minimize errors because they're going to happen, right? It's considered a soft skill, but one that's crucial for success across diverse professions. Okay. So here's what they do. Let's talk about Ritz Carlton. From check-in to turn-down service, every step is intentional and polished. Here's the thing. They have their process. They know what they're going to do, but it's very intentional. If you go on in, basically, let's say if you go on into a Ritz Carlton and they do give you the little chocolates for the turn down service, if you go in whenever time turn down service is, and you just go room to room to room to room to room, every room is set up the same. Now, where there may be some differences is personal preferences, where you go, okay, this one is different. Guess what? They may have a repeat client that likes things a certain way, which lets you know how intentional they are in their delivery. So, and it's very polished. Everything's in its place. Everything's clean. That's what Ritz-Carlton delivers. Disney, visual design, cleanliness, even background music are precisely orchestrated to maintain the magic. And I don't know if you can hear, but they have that it's like that little soundtrack to your childhood going on in the background when you're when you're at Disney. It's there. I don't know if you know, but all trash cans are 16 feet apart because they realize someone is willing to take about 16 steps or so. It's 16 steps apart. Sorry, 16 steps before in order to throw something away. Anything longer than that, people are more likely to drop it on the ground. So the trash cans are put intentionally. When you go into the different, like if you're at Disney World and you're in Magic Kingdom, when you're in Aladdin's area, you hear Middle Eastern music playing. When you go on over to like the Mark the what Tom Sawyer, Huckleberry Finn, where the ferry boat is and all that stuff, they're playing more like a banjo music, old, basically mid cowboy music, so to speak. But they have all that's intentional. When you go through Liberty, they go through there. When you go by the Haunted Mansion, you hear Haunted Spooky. Everything there is to immerse you. It's there to make you feel like, oh, wow, I am there. This is part of it. That's Their detail. And then Lexus, every showroom and service bay is pristine. Premium amenities like lounge areas, gourmet coffee reflect the luxury of the brand. When you go on in, hey, would you like a coffee? Would you like this? It's there. The thing is like if they go to show you something on your car, you go through the bay where there's like 30 cars in there all being worked on. You're like, I wish my garage was this clean because there's no way my garage is this clean. I mean, some of you super OCD people out there probably have that. But when I got four kids going in and out with bikes and toys and everything else, yeah, my garage isn't that. My garage is probably a safety hazard. But when you go through there, it's amazing. How is it that oil everywhere, parts, the can't clean? There's not stuff laying around. Everything has its place. And it just makes you like, ooh. Of course, this is why they can charge that too for that service because you are getting the experience. Just like, you see all the t-shirts joking about Disney, I had to get a second mortgage to come here. Guess what? The experience is what you're paying for because they make you feel that good. You're willing to do it again. So what can you do for yours? Number one, you can discover their why story. People just don't get up and move. There's a reason behind it. Like for me, I told you when I moved to the house I'm in now, it's because of schools. I don't plan on moving until my littlest is out of school because I want them to go through the same school system, to have the friends, to have the experience, knowing the schools are well-rated schools. That was my biggest why I moved. Everybody's moving for a reason. It's not just, hey, okay, so you want a four-bedroom, 2.5 bath house. That's great. Let's go find one. No, why do you need 4 bedrooms? Why 2.5 bath? Why not 3.5 bath? Why 4 bedrooms? There's only three of you. Guess what? Well, we may have a family member living with us down the road. You want to know the why because the why helps you find and solve their problem, helps you find the right house to meet their needs. But you can't just scratch the surface. You have to dig into that personal detail. Ask yourself, what do I need to know about them? What do I need to know about why they're doing this? Find out their needs and their wants. These are two different things. And I'm sure y'all have experiences where they're like, oh, look, basically, here's what we need. We need 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, just living, dining. It'd be great to have an eating kitchen, and a 2-car garage. And next thing you know, you're showing them that, and they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then you don't see them for a week, and then you say, hey, let's go out and look at some houses again this weekend. And next thing you know, they're like, yeah, well, I need a basement now. I'm like, where'd this come from? Where did basement come from? That was another. Well, friend had a basement, had a game room down there, and I thought that was really cool. Now I want a game room. Hold on. Do you need a game room or do you want a game room? What is it? Because sometimes you got to refocus clients to why they came. And that's why you need to know their why story. Know their needs, know their wants. Deliver their needs, try to deliver their wants, but sometimes they have to be regrounded, but you have to remind them. And if a want now becomes a need, you have to get to the why is this now a need? Because before I told you on this last client, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bath, now they can need 4. Well, it just so happens that my mom, she fell, broke her hip, and she can't be by herself anymore. They said falls may happen more often, and she's got to move with us. Now that want is a need. So that's why you need to discover these things. Take time. When somebody changes something, you need to not know what changed. You need to know why it changed. Get curious about their responses. Don't just say, oh, okay, your mom's moving. Okay, great. Got it. Say, oh, really? Why? What brought that about? It's okay to ask. And it's okay if they say, I'd rather not talk about, hey, not a problem. I just want to make sure that if it's for this need or that need, that we find the right house. Because, and they're going, well, she fell and stuff. I said, okay, so now do you need something where there's in-law suite on a main level? Do you need something like, so now you're customizing their experience according to their needs because now they know they need a floor with no steps, need to be able to get in and out of the garage, car, whatever, no steps. But you need to get curious, listen and take notes and reiterate everything to make sure nothing was missed. Show them that you listened. So that's what you can do. Now let's talk about consistency and delivery. All for one and one for all. It doesn't matter if they're buying a starter, if you can find a $150,000 house, condo, wherever, or a $3 million home. It's all for one and one for all. Everyone gets the same delivery. Because one thing you have to take a look at is Everyone has a different definition of a mansion. And for some people, a mansion, this is the first time in their history of what they know as their family that someone's going to own a home. They're not renters. And it could be that, guess what? This time they're used to living in this style home. Now they're going to this style home. Everyone deserves that same white glove treatment. Because here's the thing, when you go into Ritz Carlton, all they know is that you booked Ritz Carlton. They don't know that, guess what? We hit the lottery and we got $6,000 and a little scratch off, and we're going to stay at a Ritz Carlton. They have no idea that that's how you got there. They just know you're there, and they're going to make this experience great. That's why they're going willing to pay $800 a night to stay in that hotel, because they want the experience. All clients are treated the same, and we've got to do the same too. So what is consistency? It refers to providing reliable, predictable, and high quality experience for customers across all touch points, interactions with a brand. Remember, you are a brand, not your Keller Williams. That's a brand too, not your EXP or whoever. You yourself are your own brand. What does your brand say about you? It's crucial for building trust, fostering loyalty, and ultimately driving business success. So here's what they do. They start each shift with a lineup that includes reviewing the company's gold standards and sharing success stories. Okay. They get up and they go, okay, before we talk to the people today, remember, here's what we're going to do. We are going to make sure we greet everyone the same. Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon. We're going to make sure we open the car door. Make sure we open the front doors. We make sure we greet them. Make sure that if they're in the system, they've been here before, we bring up anything that was in the notes from before and do that. We make sure their room, we got to make sure we do it all. We can't miss a step. So we got to review. We got to be very intentional with everyone we go through. Disney, extensive onboarding and traditions training inside, and still the Disney service philosophy from day one. If you go work for Disney, you have to bleed Disney. I mean, that's the way it is, because that's why when you talk to everyone, they all say the same things. Hello, guest. It's just like you go through Chick-fil-A. My pleasure, my pleasure. They do the same thing. Disney, it doesn't matter which cast member you talk to, they're all going to give you the same service, the same everything, because they are taught this is how we are. And if you want to be here, this is how you will be. And then Lexus, dealerships are trained to follow the Lexus covenant, which focuses on the customer, respect, and continuous improvement. It's not just we're Lexus, we're here. We're Lexus, we're here today. Tomorrow we want to be here. The next day we want to be here. How can we grow? Can we continue to take care of our clients? Because for them to come on in, buy the car with a great experience, have it serviced here with a great experience, because you get that car serviced somewhere else a lot less expensive. But how are you treated when you come in? People are willing to pay for the premium. That's where a lot of buyers agents are like, now with this 3% and, I'm not getting into all that mess, but you got to know your worth. And if you're delivering it, people will pay for it. But you've got to know your brand and what you're going to deliver, because people will always pay for something great. And you've got to deliver that something great. So what can you do for consistency? Follow the same process every time. Remember your process, but you customize it for the person. So it doesn't matter, again, if it's their first time, if it's a family and you're doing their fifth house, you don't go, okay, guys, we know this. Let's go. Let's just roll. We've got this. Let's knock it out. And we're all good. We're all good. It's, this process. You tell them what you want. I'll go get it. No, you treat them the same way. That's why they came to you the 4 other times and they're here the 5th time. Treat every client the same. It doesn't matter status, anything. Everyone gets the same treatment, because that consistency across a brand, your brand, is is a reputation that you set for yourself in the marketplace. Because the last thing you want to do is all of a sudden have, let's say, previous client of yours, that they bought a $1.3 million house, okay, from you. They did that. And they talk about you got to go see Corey. You got to go see Corey. Corey's amazing. He's great. And you come on in, you're like, hey, times are tough. I have to downsize my house, my job, stuff like that. So you do it. And you're like, okay, hey, not a problem. Hey, I'm sorry to hear that. Not a problem. Okay, so where are you going? Well, looking at in the $250,000 range is what we're at now. Just times, and you're like, oh, okay, not a problem. Here we go. We'll just has this house work, this house work, this house work. And it's not, oh, what do you think of this? And this, they're going to talk. And that's going to set the tone for who you are as an agent in the delivery you get. You make them feel just as important in that. So it doesn't matter what it is. There are no shortcuts. There are no short. You take a shortcut, something was missed. Here's the thing, your client may not know because they've never worked with you before, but somewhere the experience will not be the same. So you shortcut it, you shortcut your process, you shortcut what you promised to deliver, and that could cause you a repeat business. Next, make no assumptions. That's one of the biggest problems we have as people sometimes. Because of all of our experience in life, we make assumptions on people within a second or two of meeting them, not realizing we could be 100% wrong. Because I've got some people I know that you never know are as wealthy as they are, but I also got people that I know that I thought, man, they have got it together. And next thing I know, I'm finding out that they don't have anything because it's all financed. They look the part, but they are struggling day in, day out to pay their bills because they're so busy looking the part. So you can make zero assumptions. That's why, again, I spoke about Ritz Carlton. All they know is a guest checked in, and here's how we're going to treat him. Disney, they don't know. They just know someone came in, and here's how they're going to treat them. Same thing with Lexus. You bought one, we treat you like you have one. I don't care if it's a 1990 or a 2026, you're going to get the same level of service. And then always deliver plus one. What can you do to add that little extra touch that they're not expecting? Then lastly, and the fourth point is proactive problem solving. What is it? It's a strategic approach that focuses on anticipating and addressing potential issues before they escalate in significant problems. It shifts the focus from merely reacting to problems as they occur to actively seeking out and mitigating potential challenges. Okay, here's what they do. Ritz Carlton, the staff are trained to observe and act without being asked, like noticing a guest who looks uncomfortable. If you have someone that's looking around and they're just kind of little apprehensive, like it could be the first time in there and it's overwhelming. And to go on up to them and just say, hey, look, hey, come on in here. Let me walk you around. Let me do this. Let me help you out. Or else it's someone like, I lost my keys or this happened. They're trained to look for anything that a customer doesn't look like, hey, I've got this. I know what's going on. And they're empowered to help meet that need. Disney, guest recovery is built into our operations, fixing issues before they escalate. If a ride breaks down, staff offer passes and perks. So I've been Disney where things break. It's going to happen. Doesn't matter how much you maintain. There's always the unexpected. But they go, hey, sorry about that. Here's what we're going to do for you. Sorry about that. Here's what you're going to do for you. For me, like at Disney, I actually went during a hurricane and the park shut down for 2 days and we were stuck at a Disney resort. But you know what they did during that time? They had popcorn machine going all the time. They had inflatable screens inside the big lobby where the kids were in there. They had the characters come in once an hour and dance and have a dance party with the kids. They did all these things in order to keep the experience going. And then they did everything they could to help with your room and all that stuff. So they anticipate those needs and they make sure that you're taken care of. Lexus, proactive vehicle maintenance reminders, follow-ups to ensure customer needs are addressed before they could become problems. Hey, guess what? You're hitting this mileage service. Hey, just want to remind you, you want to come in, take care of it. Here's the maintenance of it. Here's what it costs if you don't do it. Just doing little things like that. Just let you know, hey, I'm doing this. So those are things they do. They practically do. In fact, even at Ritz Carlton, the staff is enabled to cover up to a certain amount of cost to help someone out. Oh, your bag's not here. Well, how about this? Let's come into our store here. Can I get you like a toothbrush? We'll take care of it. Toothbrush. Can I get you like like a polo and some pants or something in order to help you out in the meantime, so you have clothes until. They are empowered to do something like that. It's incredible. That's what brings that service, that plus one you're not expecting. It's an amazing thing. That's what they do. Now let's talk about what you can do. Anticipate client issues. Okay. You've dealt with enough people in your life, you know when there's going to be an issue. You know if there's, guess what? If a client issue could be they have to bring their children on to look for a home. That could be an issue for their attention. So how do we do that? Other client issues could be, okay, hey, we have some things going on. Okay, not a problem. How can I help with that? Client issues could be, hey, things like I talked about. Well, my mother-in-law is going to be moving in with us. She had hip replacement surgery and she can't get her. So you got to be anticipating. You don't go show them, a two-story where all the bedrooms are on the top floor. That's just going to show you didn't listen, that you are not customizing their experience. Anticipate financing issues. Talk to your lender. Your lender they should be your best friend, because put it this way, getting a mortgage, they know more about the client than their financial financial person, financial advisor knows, because they tell the financial advisor whatever they want the financial advisor to know. With a mortgage, we have to know everything. So they know they can sit there and go, hey, here are some things. This could be, or whatnot. Again, we have privacy laws, everything like that, but you have to be aware of things that could happen. Okay. Anticipate property issues. Y'all have heard the stories, you've seen it. If you're walking around saying, hey, look, folks, I still remember my agent told me, he goes, Corey, he goes, this is a great house. It's a beautiful neighborhood. But one thing I've noticed in this area is with stucco, the woodpeckers are a problem. So I want to let you know, if you love the neighborhood, you love the house, understand you're going to have to be able to set aside funds in order to fix stucco here and there, because they're going to peck at they're going to peck at it. I'm like, who would have thought woodpeckers and stucco? Not me. But apparently he knew it and he told us. So those are anticipate property issues. Different things at different times. Let people know that, because the last thing you want to do is go, oh yeah, that's been a problem before. And you're like, why didn't you tell me? I got all excited about this house and I found out this problem with the home inspection. And you're like, yeah, I've seen that before in this area. Hey, now it's on you, instead of you told them and it's on them because they said, we don't care, we like it anyway. Next, give advice based on knowledge and previous experiences. Okay. Let them know, here's what happened before, because sometimes people don't know and they're looking to you for guidance. You haven't done it yourself, but you've worked with a lot of people that have. Hey, here's what the last people said when it came to this. So the last one said with stucco, they were able to do this, that kept the woodpeckers away. Or guess what? There's an insurance thing that you can do, and they help come on out, and you just pay a deductible, and they come on out and they do it. It has to be this much, or guess what? Anything this level, believe it or not, you can do that. There's all different things. Or here's what people said. Okay, guess what? This is great, but you may want to look at this. Give advice based on that. Talk about other people's clients' experience, but that also means you have to remember their experience. And that means you just didn't, you want to buy a home? Hey, here we go. Or you want to sell your home? Up, here we go. You have to slow down and take that experience in. And that's kind of where it works. Next, communicate quickly and thoroughly with all parties. The faster you communicate, the better. Because here's what happens. If you take too long to communicate, people start to think there's a problem and everything starts going crazy up here, going, okay, my agent's not getting back to me. Something's wrong. And then they start making up what's wrong, because that's what our brains do. So quickly and thoroughly with all parties, and then set proper expectations. Always set expectations, because if it's what they don't know is what worries them. It's what keeps them up at night. It makes them wonder when they have a moment, what's going on, because I don't know. So communicate quickly and set the expectations so they know when you're going to communicate them, things you're going to communicate about, and what you promise to deliver. Now let's bring it all together and wrap this all up. Number one, their motto is this: Ritz Carlton, we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. Just saying ladies and gentlemen elevates the experience. And if they are ladies and gentlemen, they are elevating their experience too. I'm just not a porter or a bellman or a clerk here, check you in. I am a lady, I am a gentleman, and I'm going to handle you today. It's level is up. That's their motto. Disney, happiest place on earth. It is, because when you go there, everyone's happy. It's great. The only unhappy time about Disney is going through the Orlando airport, and Billy doesn't want to put his Buzz Lightyear through the x-ray machine and he's having a full mental breakdown because he's exhausted and he doesn't want to give up his Buzz Lightyear. And you don't want to give up your Bud Light, but sorry, that was a whole tangent. But and then last, Lexus Experience Amazing. It's experience. It's not drive amazing, it's experience amazing. That is their motto. What is your motto going to be going forward? What do you want to be known as an agent in far as your service level, to where people go, I've never been treated so well as I was by you. So what is your motto going to be going forward? And to leave you with this quote here by Maya Angelou, at the end of the day, people won't remember what you said or what you did, but they will remember how you made them feel. And that's what you take in when you stay at a Ritz Carlton, when you go to Disney, and when you drive a Lexus. It's about how you feel makes you come back because you want to experience that feeling again. And how do you make your clients feel during the process, the hardest and most stressful process people go through? So now that we've covered all this, I want to know your rating again. Some of you gave me 7. Using that level as a 10, what do you rate your customer service level now and your consistency? So if you can in the chat, go ahead and tell me, what do you rate yourself now? Come on, don't be afraid to be honest. That's what coaches do. We try to help you out. Oh, got one drop to a 6. Going for excellent. Glad to hear, Denise. Again, I hopefully this helped y'all out. And 8, Jennifer, that's great. Guess what? One thing I love about 8, 10 is still achievable. 8 is, you always want to know where you are because you get better. That's one thing we will be talking on this down in months down the road, the book Atomic Habits, which is getting 1% better every day. So we'll be discussing that, having that call a later date. But I'm so glad to hear that you all know where you are and where you want to go.